As we know, our executive director is getting ready to retire, but she wanted to give us some last words before she got ready to leave. She unfortunately could not be here this morning, but she has some last words for us. Her and Dr. Metcalf were called out. So what she wanted to do was give us the invocation. I asked her to give us the invocation, and she gracefully accepted as her last safety meeting of the year.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to start by apologizing that I was not able to be with you this morning. Unfortunately, I had another commitment that I had to be at central office for this morning during the West Side safety meeting. However, I did want you to know how much I missed this opportunity of getting to see you at our last safety meeting for this school year and for my career in Aldine. Of which you guys know I can't talk about that just yet because it still gets me upset and I still get teary-eyed. So Mr. Kelly has asked me to say the prayer for the last safety meeting of the school year, and I accepted that most graciously. So let us bow our heads as we thank the Lord above. Please, Lord, watch over all of us today. Please help us remember to watch all 5 mirrors, 24 windows, 8 gauges, 6 warning lights, 6 dozen faces, 3 lanes of traffic, and to keep a third eye open for wobbling bicycles and daydreaming pedestrians, especially teenagers wearing headsets and/or texting who are involved in another world. Please, Lord, help us hear all train whistles, truck and automobile horns, police sirens, and the dispatchers who may need us. Please, Lord, give me a hand with the steering wheel, the route sheet, the radio, the turn signal. And one more thing. Dear Lord, please don't let any of the children on my bus get sick today. In Jesus' name we pray that we may all be safe today and can get up and do this again tomorrow. Amen. Okay, guys, now for the thank you from me for the opportunity to get to work with you over the past 11 years. It has been a wonderful experience. It has been exciting. It's been happy, sad, all of it all rolled into one big 11 years. I started at the west side and ended at the east side. I will always miss my West Siders, even though I didn't get to spend as much time with them as I would have liked to once I was moved to the east side. But all in all, it's been a great run, and keep them rolling and keep them safe. I love you. Bye.
All right, moving right along with our regularly scheduled program. Our employee of the month this month is Miss Joyce Melendez. Miss Joyce Melendez. Congratulations. And as I understand, I think Miss Joyce also had perfect attendance for this month. Is that correct? No? I think, no, not for the, well, I don't know. Congratulations on being the employee of the month. Employee of the month. Good deal. Moving right along with our perfect attendance incentives. And let me say this before I continue. We will have perfect attendance for the month of May. So you know, when we do this, so we're presenting it for the month of May, but it's actually for the month of April. When we complete April, we go ahead and present it for May. We will have one for May, and we will give those incentives out on the last day of school. So you will hear your name called over the air, and you will get your incentives for being here for perfect attendance. I'm sorry, I said employee of the month, but perfect attendance, okay? So perfect attendance for this month. That we are on the west side right there, Miss Nancy Bryant. Hey, ma'am. Now on the west side, you guys normally have a lot more spirit than that. What's going on this morning? I know we tired. This is the last one, y'all. Let's go out with a bang. Miss Cruz, Delmira Cruz. Delmira Cruz, I'm sorry. Miss Vivian Perkins. Ramon Almendarez. Mr. Kevin Tran. Where's Kevin at? Mr. Kevin Tran. And Mr. John Nelson. Good deal, good deal. Hey, thank you so much for coming every day in the month of April. We appreciate it. Hey, show of hands if you came every day in the month of April, but you were not selected for perfect attendance. Good job. Let's give them a round of applause as well. Good job. Good job. Now, the way that we do that, now hold on now. I got a lot to say and a little time to say it. I'll continue once it quiets down. Thank you much. Now, the way that we do that, everybody that has perfect attendance for the month, we go ahead and query all the names. And we do it sometimes two ways. We either cut all the names up, place them in a bag, and select the ones out of the bag, or we either select random numbers, and whoever's name is by that number, that's who receives that incentive. So that's the way that we do it, so that it's totally random and fair. All right? We got Ms. Rose that's going to come up. She's going to share some safety information. As we know, as we get nearer to the end of school, kids get a little more squirrely. They don't pay as much attention as they did maybe throughout the year, if they paid attention then. But all in all, it makes it a little more dangerous for us, because we are operating a commercial vehicle, and we know even if they're in high school, they're not paying attention. They're playing around, they're pushing each other, they're trying to figure out who they go. No kids around. They're trying to figure out who they gonna get for the last day of school, right? Who they had a beef with the entire year. Who finally, I'm finna get them because I ain't coming back to this school no more. So they're not really paying attention, and that's why we have to help them. So she's going to give us a few things that we need to know going forward as far as commercial driver's license is concerned.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's so good to see all of you and see you at a different place than we normally see you at, and probably see you soon as we get our summer meetings together. I just want to touch base on a few of the little things that have concerned us involving loading and unloading at the campuses, and that is that our drivers are pulling in there and rolling that wheel right along the edge of the curb. And I think you think you're doing the students a favor. All they got to do is just step barely down there on the curb. But what if they slip? What if they fall? What if their foot falls in there and they break their leg, or you don't realize they're there and you go to drive the bus away? So you want to make sure that you want to avoid doing that. Damage to the tire occurs from scraping along that concrete curb. The driver should position the bus approximately 18 to 24 inches from the curb. Just keep that in mind. These are just best practices. Students need to step down onto the pavement and then back up onto the sidewalk when they exit the bus. This avoids them from tripping and falling. If the bus is positioned closer to the building, then you have tail swing that's more likely to cause contact with the school awning when you're pulling away from there to leave. And of course, we know we want to avoid. Please, let's avoid at all costs going around other buses on the ramp. In the handbook, it tells you not to do it, so please, let's not do it. Tail swing can make contact with people on the loading area. If students or teachers or even another school bus driver standing out there, the tail swing could actually make contact with them. So pupil transportation's best practice is to remain farther from the curb. This is what I'm really here to talk to you about today. I'm really concerned about the fact that so many of our drivers are being downgraded to a C license. That's the license that you use to drive your car. That is not the license that you need to drive your school bus. And naturally, if you only have a C license, you're not any good at transportation. We need you to have that Class B so that you can transport students. And what's happening is that when you go to the DPS for anything, if you go there because you've moved and you need to change your address or it's time to renew, they're going to have you self-certify. And then a year later, you go there for something else, and they're going to have you self-certify again. Every time they put that form in front of you to self-certify, and if you do it incorrectly, you're going to end up putting yourself into a position where you can lose your Class B license. So, one of the things you need to do is you need to watch the mail. Make sure that you do change your address if you move. Pay that $10 and go stand in that line for 2 hours or whatever it takes. But make sure you change your address. Because if you don't and something goes wrong and you get a letter in the mail, but you won't get it because they're not going to forward it, what's going to happen? You're not even going to know that you're going to be downgraded. If you are downgraded and 60 days goes by, there's no saving it unless you go and take all 5 tests again and get with the academy and learn how to do a pre-trip. And I want you guys to know that we have brand new drivers here. I'm looking at one right now that just graduated. She knows probably more about a school bus than all of us old heads do. Now you have to go under the hood, you have to go under the edge of the bus, you have to name all the components, what to look for whenever you're doing your pre-trip, what the component does for the bus. And after that 1 hour block at the DPS, then you get to impress them with your ability to do your brake test and explain how to load and unload and how to properly stop at the railroad tracks. And then you get to impress them with your driving skills. So a 2 hour block at the DPS is what it takes to get your license back. So you don't want to be downgraded to a C license, do we? Okay, so you want to update your license when you move and protect your livelihood. Okay, now look at this. I made this so that I want you guys to remember this in your mind every time you go to the DPS. That big old box 1 in red. And then a big old red arrow pointing over at box 1. I want this to be implanted in your mind when you go to that DPS. And if you look at the top up there, exemption 49. Just remember that we are number 1. We drive a school bus, and we are exempt. And that's what you want to tell that person when you go to the DPS. Do not let the clerk behind the counter convince you to hand her your DOT card. If you hand her your DOT card, she is going to type in that expiration date. And now you're obligated. You are married to the DPS because you're going to have to return before 1 year is up. You're going to have an anniversary date with the DPS. And if you don't get back there with a new DOT, you're going to lose your license. It's that simple. Cut and dry. So unless you, Mr. Kelly, unless you are going to be crossing state lines and you're going to be driving a tractor trailer truck or doing something other than driving a school bus, there's no reason to show your DOT. If you certify with your DOT, then you will have to return every year and you will have to present a new DOT card. And that's all I've got to say to you guys. I want you all to have a wonderful summer. They are short, you know. And I'm going to give this over to Mr. Kelly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rose. Very, very important information. I'm going to make sure that you get this slide in your box so you guys can have that information. That's very important. You need to have that so you can hold me accountable for that. I'll make sure that you get it in your box so that you can have that slide. And now we're going to move right along. And now we're going to talk about how to prepare for your DOT physical. Physical, July 17th and July 18th. Now, You don't have to write that down. On your calendar that you're going to receive, all of that information is laid out for you. And actually, by the end of the week, you're going to receive an information. Your name has already been entered into a time slot for the day of the physical. Okay? The physicals will be on the west side. Now, the reason why we do that, and it's taking place in July, we're trying to get everybody centralized. So at one point when we did physicals, we did them earlier in the year, and there were a lot of people that did not, basically, their physicals were incomplete for various reasons. And so they couldn't drive. Well, this is your livelihood. So now when we do it in the summer, that gives you an opportunity to get things together. If you should not pass that physical, where it won't affect your livelihood. And so it's a better situation for all of us. So we're centralizing the physical dates in July. And you will get that information firsthand. But we're going to let Ms. Charlene from Pinnacle tell us how to pass our DOT physical.
Hi there, my name is Charlene and I'm with Pinnacle Medical Management. Most of you have seen me a time or two at physicals each year. We are going to be doing your physicals again this year, and I'm just wanting to prepare you guys and help you to pass your DOT physicals if we can do that at all possible. There are lots of things that I want to go over with you. You will be getting a flyer from the ISD about these very things, so you'll have something in writing that you can hold in your hand that will go over all of the things I'm about to mention to you. The purpose of this is to help you pass, because obviously if you're passing, you're able to drive for your ISD, and they are very happy about that. They don't need to be shorthanded, so if you will do your part with me, we can make this happen. First and foremost, I want to talk to you about when you're filling out your form online, you will be given a link to your email. So when you go onto that link, you're going to sign in. This is the time when you're going to go over and look at all of the information that we've already previously had, like your address, your driver's license number, your social security number, your phone number, last name. If any of those things have changed, feel free to go ahead and correct those things at that point. Then you're going to move on to doing your medical history. On this medical history, that's going to be blank every single year. So even though you filled it out last year, it's going to be blank this year. So please be honest, answer the questions yes or no. On the medication, please don't just put I take blood pressure medicine, put the name of the medication that you do take. We do not have to have dosages. Also, when you get to the bottom, it's going to ask you, did you answer yes on any of those questions 1 through 32? If you did, please take the time to answer those in order. And it is helpful if you'll put the number of the question that you're replying to. So say it was number 7 for blood pressure. If you will put number 7, blood pressure for about 5 years, for about 10 years, just give us a timeline of how long you've been being treated for that issue. Even though it's under control, if you take medication for it, then you do have that problem. So you do need to say yes to that. Also, pre-filling, by doing this ahead of time, you're going to save yourself so much time on the day of exams. The difference is you will still have to sit with me and do a check-in, but if you've pre-filled, you will sit with us probably less than 2 minutes. We basically just need to witness your signature. We're going to scan over the information, make sure that you didn't miss anything. If you did, we may have to go over that with you, but that's about it. It'll be very quick, very simple. You will move on and go on to the stations. Please have your driver's license out, because every girl at every station is going to use that to identify you. And we do need that primarily at check-in, because we have to verify on there that you do have your CDL and it's current. That being said, okay, so you're going to be getting one of these pieces of paper, and it's how to prepare for your DOT physical. These are very important. So when you get these, please take the time to read them. At the bottom, you will see that we have our office phone number. So if you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to call us and ask. Sleep apnea, you do need that compliance report. So if you have a little chip in your machine, you're going to take that into either your pulmonary doctor or your primary physician, whoever you see for your sleep apnea. Take that little chip in, they will put it in their computer, and it will put out a printout. That's called a compliance report. We have to have, it has to show that you're at least 70% compliance for 4 hours or more. Also, please keep in mind this needs to be less than 30 days old. So the closest amount of time that you can do it to the DOT physical date is the best. And that is going to be the same for pretty much anything that you need to have in advance. The closest amount of time that you can get that done to your DOT physical date would be the best situation. If you have heart disease, you will need an echocardiogram result within the last 2 years, and it must show an ejection fraction of 40% or better. If you take any kind of sedating or mood altering medications, this would also include pain medications, psychiatric medications for depression, anxiety, those kind of things. If you're on ADD medicine, ADHD medicine, weight loss medications like Vyvanse or Adderall or Phentermine, you will need a note from your prescribing physician stating the name of the medication, what the diagnosis is, including the severity of the diagnosis, and it must also state that the medication nor the diagnosis will affect your ability to drive a school bus. Please make sure they put school bus. By putting school bus, it tells DOT that your doctor is aware that you are in a safety sensitive position. So that is very key, and it must be on there. If it's not on there, if it just simply says that you're good to drive, it's not going to pass. So just letting you know. On these notes, I just want you to know that no matter what you're bringing, you do not have to show this to any of our staff members until you get to the examiner. That's the only person that needs to see this information. Also, if you are taking any medications that are primarily used for anti-seizures, such as gabapentin, a lot of times those are used for things like migraines, neuropathy, and psychiatric disorders. So because of the primary issue that gabapentin was actually created as an anti-seizure medication, it falls underneath that category. You will need to have a letter from your doctor stating that you are not being treated for seizures and that you have no history of seizures. But it does also need to state what the medication is being prescribed to you for. And again, it must state that the diagnosis nor the medication is going to affect your ability to drive a school bus. Again, it must be very clear to state that you are not being treated for seizures, nor have you been diagnosed with seizures. That too can be something that's very private. Just give it to the examiner when you see them. On your vision, if you are prescribed corrective lenses, contacts, or glasses for distance driving, you will have to bring those to the physical because you will be tested at distance. So please have those with you if you need those. Also, just a reminder, if you already know that your vision has deteriorated since last year, go ahead and get a jump on that. Go see your eye doctor and see if you need to go ahead and get something prescribed now. It could save you from not being able to drive later. And I'm sure your ISD will appreciate that. And then on diabetes, provide a recent, within the last 30 days, A1C, and it must be 10 or lower. Again, on this one, even though it says less than 30 days, if you can get it as close to the exams as possible, that's always going to be the best situation. So we will need that A1C, and it does have to be 10 or lower. It is also imperative that you take your medications prior to the exam, so that way they are working while we're taking your urinalysis. On hypertension, so if you have blood pressure issues and you're being prescribed medication, please take your medication before you get here. If your blood pressure is elevated during the exam, then you could very possibly be disqualified, so we don't want that to happen. Also on blood thinners such as warfarin, if you have those kind of things, we do need to have an INR, and it must be 2.0 to 3.0. So go ahead and get that INR ahead of time. Again, as close to the exam date as possible is always best. Bring that with you, show it to the examiner. Again, my name is Charlene with Pinnacle Medical Management, and we will be doing your exams coming up soon. So please take the time to pre-fill when you get that email, log on to the link. If you have any issues logging in, please call our office at 281-405-8378, and we will be happy to get you another link sent to your email as soon as possible. Pre-filling is very important. We want to help you succeed. So please follow all of these guidelines to ensure that you pass your DOT physical and can drive another year for the school district. The purpose for all of this is also because there are a lot of DOT regulations that our company must follow. So just letting you know that although it seems like a lot for you guys to remember every year, just letting you know that we don't make the rules, we just simply follow them. So by going over this with you, I know it's a lot of information, but by following these rules, it will help you, me, and the ISD. Thank you so much.
Now, I know that was a lot of information, so briefly, we're going to go over it just for a moment. You already have the information she was talking about, the sheet in your packet that you receive when you walk through the door. 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, if you don't know what she's talking about, it probably doesn't pertain to you. If you have any of these conditions, then you should know what she's talking about. Okay? Now, we're going to back up and go over that pre-fill thing that she's talking about. What is pre-fill? Your district email has been sent to Pinnacle. Pinnacle already has it. What they're going to do is email you a link. Once they email you the link, you will be able to go and click on that link. It'll take you to a screen where you're able to pre-fill out your information for Pinnacle. When you pre-fill that information, Pinnacle, it'll ask you to send it, and Pinnacle will receive it. So when you come in to do your physicals, they will already have your information, and it will drastically reduce the time that you have to wait through that process. If you do it ahead of time, you wait less. If you wait till you get there, then there's going to be a longer wait because you'll have to do it the old way, which is sit down and go through everything. Now, there would be a technology team assistant to be able to help you with your email information should you need some help. If you haven't been using it this year, we will be able to help you get that information prior to the physicals. Prior to the physicals. Okay, so you don't have to feel like you got to do that alone. We're going to help you with that if you don't know how to get into your password, your email, your district email. Okay, so that's what that's talking about. But all the information she mentioned, you have it on page 4 of your PowerPoint presentation that you got that says how to prepare for your DOT physical. So you had it in video and you also had it on paper. Any questions if I can answer them, I will. I'll briefly take 1 or 2 so we can make sure we get everything else in. Okay, we'll get that information for you. Now, this is for the people that, remember, we're trying to centralize our physicals. So this information is going to be sent to you for the July 17th and July 18th date. If you were planning on going to get your physical before then, you need to contact Pinnacle. And that phone number is located on page 5, right there on that PowerPoint slide. Okay, just contact Pinnacle so that they can send it to you ahead of time. But we're trying to centralize the physicals. Now, moving right along. How to prepare for your DOT physical is what we just went over. Moving right along. Employee self-service application. So the district sent out a mass email, okay? And basically they want you to know how to update your own information. Should you have an address change or anything like that. And so we're going to walk through that real quick. Basically, you go to the district website. Now notice that it says, where it says, how do I access ESS? You have to use that web address in order to access it. That web address in order to access it. Notice it says use Internet Explorer browser. You're only able to access it from Aldine locations. Okay? So you want to use the Internet Explorer. So that means that it's not compatible with Chrome. Internet Explorer. And let me you go ahead and take a moment to just kind of look over it, but this is so you can update all your pay stubs. Take a look at your pay stubs, your W-2 forms, you update your address, any emergency contacts, your pay summaries, any deductions, any of your personal information. This is where you can access that, where you can do it online and just update your own information. What that last paragraph says is, for security reasons, access to ESS is only available with the Aldine Computer Network. So you can only access that from an Aldine network, and you must use Internet Explorer to do so. And you have this information as well. Go to the home page, and I'll highlight more resources. Click ESS. Once you do that, and that's an example of what it looks like, you should see that page after you select ESS. It's going to ask you to put in your username and ID. To retrieve it, while you're taking a moment to go ahead and look at it, you click on Get My ESS Login from the menu. Just giving you a moment to kind of view over it. Once you do that, you also, how do I get my password? If you don't know your password, it also tells you how to get your password. If you need to reset your password, that's how you get it. You guys are probably wondering where that music's coming from. So it lets them know when the bell is getting ready to ring. It's a pretty neat way to let them know that they have about a few seconds left, so they need to get to class. Enter the employee self-service application. Enter your username and password, then click log in. That's what the interface looks like on the right. That's what you can look for. To get a new password, it has to be 6 characters long, and it is case sensitive. This tells you how to change your mailing address. Aldine does send out information via mail. Click on the Home Address tab to view your mailing address. And that's how you make changes. One thing I do want to draw attention to, right there where it says Open Records in the general information section, there's a field called Open Records. If you click No, then Aldine will not make your home address available for people to receive your records, okay? So if you don't want your records to be able to be used for any other purpose, you want to click No on that, then you submit. Just click Submit. Okay? Now we're going to move along and talk about some more end of the year stuff. Take a look at that. You have that also in your packet. Now, this is the spring semester final exam schedule for early dismissal high school. High school. I blacked everything out because that's information that you don't need. That just talks about their schedule and how they're going to take their exams. The information that's not blacked out, which is what you see on Tuesday, May 30th, okay, and Wednesday, May 31st. That's going to begin the early dismissal days for high school. Notice that high school gets out at 11:05. At 11:05, that's Tuesday and Wednesday. Now Hall, and I know I got a couple of Hall drivers, we'll talk to you individually because they have a different schedule. Okay, their days are Wednesday and Thursday, and we'll give you the times. Okay, but for all the rest of the high schools, this is what we're looking at. Just so you know, we want you to arrive to the school 15 minutes prior to, at least 15 minutes prior to the students letting out. This is what the dismissal times will look like on the last day of school. Very important information. I've color coordinated it according to the times that go with each other so that it's easy for us to see. High schools, 9th grade campuses, dismissing at 11 a.m. Intermediate schools, middle schools, Reese, Anderson, and Bethune, dismissals at 12:45. Elementary schools, 11:50. AEC dismisses at 11. Gap and Lane, remember we talked about the last day of school, dismisses at 11:50. EC and PK, they're going to let out at 11 so that we can get those students to their home campus so that they can be let out at 11:30. And Hall Center, 1:30. That's on the last day. Okay? You also have that information in your packet. And more than likely, you're probably going to receive something in your boxes as well, just as a reminder. Okay? And it's going to tell you who you can talk to about any questions that you have regarding it. We always give out more information. Last day of school reminders. Stuff that we should look for on the last day of school. Of course, we said kids get a little more squirrely. They play a lot more. So let's take a look at it. Teachers will be assigned to ride your buses. Will be assigned to ride your buses. We got to return them to the campus at the end of the run. And my veterans, we know this. What you want to do, observe students entering the bus after dismissal. Now, I say that to say it's the last day of school. If I'm going to get away with something, this is the day I'm going to try. So observe your students getting on the bus. They don't know that you're observing them, but make sure that they don't have things that can be dangerous to you or anybody else that's on that bus. All right? This is for your safety. That's why we're jogging your memory. All students must get off the bus at their assigned stop unless documentation has been provided to you by a campus administrator or a transportation administrator. Keep that documentation if they give you something. Okay? We're not accepting anything from kids, administrators only. They must get off at their assigned stop, unless that documentation says something different. No matter what kind of excuse they give you, don't let them off unless it's at their assigned stop. If they misbehave, we are going to take them home. Proceed on your run. If it's a type of incident that needs to be on the office referral, go ahead and write them up. When you take that administrator back to that school, we want to turn it in then. Why? Two things. I have known seniors from personal experience that thought that they were going to get away with something and did something foolish and almost had their scholarships revoked from them, pending whatever infraction or pending whatever discipline action the school said that they had to do because they did that. I've personally known that. The other thing is, if they are not graduating, they are going to return to a school or that school the next year. There are situations, and I've personally known this as well, where those kids start off the school at Compass. They hold them accountable. We just got to do our part. Don't give them candy, cookies, gum, drinks, etc. We don't know what kids are allergic to. They don't know what they're allergic to, especially our little ones. Be aware of students outside of the bus when stopping to unload, okay? And that rolls right into the next one. Around this time, the day before, the last day of school, they go set their egg cartons outside. And the ones you drop off on that side of the street, 3 streets down, make their way through the trail with their eggs, and they wait on that last stop. Okay? And then that's when they want to throw eggs, etc. Now on that day, PD will be roaming around. If you get into a situation that warrants us to call the police, call in the dispatch and tell them you need some assistance. Just giving you the heads up. You can't stop kids from being kids. And probably a lot of us in here did the same thing. I'm just saying. After dropping them off, check your bus. Check your bus. Make sure that they didn't leave anything that they weren't supposed to leave on your bus. So here recently, we have been getting more situations where we've been finding controlled substances on the buses. Okay, so check your buses. Check your seats. Check under your seats. Make sure you inspect everything at the end of your route. Okay, at the end of your run, and then also at the end of your route. I'm going to bring up Mr. Nathan. He's going to talk to us more about the final inspection. But guys, I won't get a chance to say this to everybody except unless I come over the radio. Please be careful. Please keep your eyes open. The last day of school should be routine, but a lot of times kids will be kids. Okay? Keep an eye out and just look out for yourselves and the student passengers.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to make this quick because I know everybody wants to get back to chilling, right? As always, that we've done over the last couple of years, we have an inspection receipt. You will receive this after you've gone through the inspection. For the west side, Marcos and the camera team will be helping with these inspections. But we're going to do something a little bit different this year to try to expedite this. In your box, next Monday, I'm going to put a form, and that form is going to have an inspection sheet, just like we did at the beginning of the year. How many people remember that sheet from the beginning of the year? Inspect your bus, turn it in, right? Do the same thing. So if you've got damaged seats, damaged windows, issues or problems with the bus, you're going to write it all up on that form. When you pull up for your inspection, you hand the form to your inspector. They walk your bus real quick, get back off, you go. So we're going to try to make that quicker this year, okay? Make sure you turn this in the last day of school when you turn in your key. On your bus, what we're going to be looking for is that you've swept the floor. There's no trash in the bus. The seats don't have trash jammed in them, because you know they love to do that the last day of school. your driver area is clean, okay? We don't want to be getting in a nasty bus. You don't want to be in a nasty bus. We're going to clean your buses during the summer, but help us out a little bit by wiping down your area. We will provide cleaning solutions that we would like you to use that is non-toxic and biodegradable and safe for everyone. I've got spray bottles, rags, and the solution for you guys that you can check out from Benny, and Marcos and the camera team will help support that, okay? You also need to make sure you turn in your car seats and your vest. You will actually turn them in during your inspection. So as you pull up, unhook everything, turn it into the inspector, we'll put them in a bus. That way you don't have to carry them inside, okay? So we make that a lot faster for us. The inspections will start. Hey Jacob, can you hit the west button for me? At the bottom. No, that wasn't it. Here, look through it. Sorry guys. One more slide. All right, down there at the bottom in the corner. See it? That's the wrong one. The other button. Sorry, I made separate ones for east, separate for west. What did you do? All right, just skip down the slides. Hang on a second, guys. Technical difficulties. Hold that away.
What are you doing, guys?
I'm trying to get to the right map. There it is. One second. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so the inspections will be on the west side at the fueling island, like they've been for the last 2 years. I need you guys to go down about the south end through the parking lot, behind the driver's parking. So just like I've done in the past, you come in, you go all the way around so that your bus is facing north. When you're done, you go pull right into your spot and park your bus. All right? Last thing real quick for you. The summer work, the sign-up list went out yesterday. It will only be posted for this week. Friday, during the afternoon run, we're picking them up. We're running one team starting July 10th and running through the 3rd of August. Tentatively, we're looking at 16 drivers and 4 attendants, but that is subject to change. Make sure you sign up if you want to participate by Friday. After Friday, there will not be any exceptions for anyone that didn't sign up. Recap real quick on the egging. If you notify your inspector that your bus was egged, he's going to have a checklist.
Hey, you guys, there's some new people in here. You may know this, but they don't. So let's give us some courtesy so that we can explain this. Thank you.
So egging, notify the person inspecting your bus. They're going to have a check sheet for all the buses that are egged, as well as anybody that gets sick on your bus. Let them know about that too, okay? So when they get sick, let us know. The last thing is when your keys, make sure you have that inspection receipt when you turn in your key. If you don't have the inspection sheet, we will not accept your key and you will have to go back through the inspection. So do not lose that form once we give it to you, okay? And that's all I've got. Thank you guys.
I'm going to bring Mr. Williams up just to give us a quick, some quick information about clocking in and clocking out on the last day.
Okay, so going over this real quick, the 30-minute rule applies. So you go ahead, if you got 30 minutes between each run, go ahead and clock out, you clock back in. There are some exceptions for this. There are some people that have runs that pretty much run together, but for the most part, that 30-minute rule applies. As far as your time cards, make sure your time cards are straight unless you plan on being here Monday, June 5th. So I would advise you June 2nd or June 1st, okay, last day of school, check your time cards, make sure they're good. If you got any missing punches, go ahead, submit a missing punch form to payroll. We want to go ahead and make your pay good to go. Finish out the new year. Thank you very much.
I like them kind of announcements, they're short and sweet. All right. End of year calendar and itinerary. Okay? This is what they were handing out when you came in. And you have an example there. Basically what it is, it just shows what's going to happen through the summer. It shows us the month of July, and it shows us what's going on in August. And you'll get your own copy, so you'll be able to read it perfectly, okay? But some things real quick that are important. July 31st, I'm just going to give you some quick dates real quick. If you are a special needs driver who needs to be CPR certified, meaning you were not CPR certified last year, July 31st will be that date, and the times will be from 7 to noon. You'll have all of this information. It's already printed for you. It's already printed for you. Okay? Going forward, this is just FYI. I just want to let you guys know what's coming up. August 7th through 11th is the general meeting week. The general meeting week. Okay? West Side will be the 7th and 8th. East Side will be 9th and 10th. All right? From 8 to 4. 8 to 4. At the MOC building. At the M.O. Campbell building. There is going to be some classroom stuff, but it's going to be a lot more hands-on stuff. Some stuff where we can actually get in and get at it. Now, that's the calendar. Also, you're going to see on your calendar, there is a makeup CPR date. That is for new hires or late hires. Everybody that needs to be CPR certified will have to get it on July 31st. If there's a reason why you can't make that, or you can't make the general meeting for your date, you must see myself. You must see me so that we can make arrangements. Now, the general meeting is mandatory. If you do not attend, you will have your pay docked. Why? Because it is built into your contract days. So if you don't go, they're going to take that money from you. It is mandatory. Wanted to make sure I said that. On the right-hand side of that screen, what you see right there, each one of you has an individualized itinerary with all the dates that are going on this summer, and we have taken the liberty to put an X by everything you specifically have to go to. You specifically have to go to. So all you got to do is take that, stick it on your refrigerator, and you will know where you're supposed to go every time we're having something. That's what that thing on the right is. That's your itinerary. It also has shuttle times when we're doing CPR certification, general meeting, and the special ed meeting. The special ed meeting, just going over it, will be that Friday, August 11th. August 11th at the MOC. So the general meeting will be 7th and 8th West Side, 9th and 10th East Side, special needs meeting 11th. We got that block. That's our in-service week. At the M.O. Campbell building. Now, a couple quick announcements and then we're done. Is there anyone that wants an XC added to their route? If you want an XC added to their route, there will be a sign-up sheet. There will be a sign-up sheet, okay, on Wednesday, where you'll be able to sign, stating that you want an XC. Okay? Open routes will be posted in May. They will be posted in May. And then whatever's left after that will be posted in July. Just wanted you guys to know that. July 17th. And then that last bullet Mr. Williams already went over. These are a couple of quick pictures from the north side. That building is being erected.
There's the new car, bus wash. What's on there?
The good thing about it is, and that's pretty much it. We want to have everybody have a quick summer. Real quick, Marcos has an announcement on your way.
Everybody, if you're driving a bus, go to your